For my US Gov video, I wanted to talk about gun laws and solutions that we could have because I find it absolutely useless to argue back and forth about it when there are many quite simple solutions. Let's get to it. I first wanted to start off talking a little bit about the different types of guns. This here is a handgun, and a handgun is defined as a gun designed for use by one hand, especially a pistol or revolver. This is a pistol. A pistol is any handgun that does not contain its ammunition in a revolving cylinder. This here is a revolver. As you can see, the cylinder, it holds the ammunition, and as shot, it rotates in a circular form. This here is a shotgun. A shotgun is defined as a smooth bore gun for firing small shots at a short range. You can see in the bottom picture the series of photos of the shot coming out of a shotgun. All it does is it shoots many small little pellet type things into a spray covering more area at a shorter distance. Here are two different types of rifles. Now, this is a generic definition for rifle. A gun, especially one fired from shoulder level, having a long spiraling grooved barrel intended to make a bullet spin and thereby have greater accuracy over long distance. Up top, you can see what is just a standard hunting rifle. Down below is an AR-15, which is considered an assault rifle. Now this is an M16. This is more powerful than an assault rifle. The definition, or the checklist of things of which to be called an assault rifle it has to be all of, is it must be an individual weapon. It must be capable of selective fire. It must have intermediate power cartridge, no more power than a pistol, but less power than a standard rifle or battle rifle. This photo here is a picture of a battle rifle. It is an M16 and it is used by many militaries across the world. And to be an assault rifle, its ammunition must be supplied from a detached box magazine, and it should have an effective range of at least 300 meters. On the AR-15, you can see the magazine, which is called a detached box magazine because you can take it out, and it is much like a box that you store your bullets in before they're ready to be fired. An assault rifle must be capable of selective fire. To be capable of selective fire, a firearm has to have at least two firearm modes, which could be burst fire or individual or automatic, but in this case, this AR-15, I believe, is only capable of burst fire and single shot. It is its own individual weapon. It does have an intermediate power cartridge. It is less than the pistols I've shown you. I mean, it is more than the pistols I've shown you. I'm sorry. But less than the M16s. And its effective range is at least 300 meters. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the few ideas I have that would be great gun law solutions that would make both sides happy, whether you are pro-guns or anti-guns. My first step would to be making getting a gun a little bit harder for the people that shouldn't have them. Actually, a lot harder. I would make owning a gun just like you do owning a car, where you have to register it, you have to get a renewed license or every year, or you can pay ahead in advance, so you can renew that. You can renew it for 5 years, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. And you'd have to go through a thorough background check, not these wimpy background checks they do now. A thorough background check. But because there are a lot of people that are wrongfully put on lists like the no-fly list, or are convicted of crimes that they just truly did not mean to commit and didn't know about the laws until after, I would put in place a system where you could apply for a waiver to be allowed to own the gun if you were denied via the background check or whatnot. Part 2 is a little bit more touchy for some people because it has to do with what guns you can and cannot own. I would, in a perfect world, like to see a place where you can shoot any gun, but you cannot own all of them. Now, as I discussed earlier, there is a difference between an assault rifle and an automatic rifle. Most automatic rifles are assault rifles, but there's a difference. I believe that any automatic rifle you should not be allowed to own much as a citizen unless you get a permit for it. But much like we have driving ranges for golf and tracks for people to go race cars around, I believe we should have gun ranges that apply for permits to be allowed to own fully automatic weapons so people can come in as recreation and shoot fully automatic guns all they want. But they cannot take them home and store them under their bed or in their safe. I believe you should be allowed to own your very own assault rifle, because some of them, as long as they are not automatic, because some of them can be used practically for hunting and whatnot. Now, to get a little more specific, I want to go into bullets. There are different styles of bullets. There's your standard bullets and there's hollow points and many others. I don't think we need to be owning hollow points, because a regular bullet, when hit, will go straight through you. A hollow point, when hit, will expand inside of you, tearing apart organs and whatnot, so that they can, if you're trying to stop somebody from hurting you, or if you find an intruder in your home and you shoot them with a hollow point, they will be stopped a lot faster than if shot with a regular bullet. They are not meant to be used for recreation. They are meant to kill people or any other living things. So that we can be allowed to use automatic weapons, I feel it is totally appropriate to get rid of hollow point weapons, or bullets. There's no such thing as a hollow point weapon. I don't believe there should be a cap on the number of guns you're allowed to own, because if I wanted to become a gun collector, that would deny me that ability and that right that I have due to the Second Amendment of the Constitution to bear arms. So I don't think it matters so much how many guns you own as what they are that is the big issue. So that would be another thing I'd try to keep that, so that I could own as many guns as I want, and I wouldn't have any issues legally or somebody coming knocking on my door and saying, hey, we've noticed you've been buying a lot of guns. What is this reason? Now, for the guns types that should be legal and illegal, just to recap, revolvers should be 100% legal. Pistols should be legal. No bullet max if they are standard bullets. And if we were allow hollow points to be used in a gun as self-defense, up to 6. Because one of those is enough to kill a person. You do not need 18 bullets, 18 hollow points to stop one person. And if you're truly concerned, I don't believe there should also be a maximum on how many cartridges you can have. You do not need 6 hollow point bullets to stop one person. I want to make sure that's very clear. Next, the fully automatic handguns, fine, as long as they're not filled with hollow points, of course, and if they are 6 bullets. The shotguns, I don't even see a reason for trying to regulate shotguns as much. They cause very few deaths in comparison to the rest of the guns, human deaths that is. Most of the time they're just used for duck hunting or clay pigeons. They're very recreational gun, and typically the most bullets they can hold is 2. And like I said earlier, their effective range is not very far, so there's no point in wasting time that could be spent on other parts of this legislation or laws, or spent someplace else discussing shotguns. And then next would be the rifles, which is a very delicate topic. Any hunting rifle should be legal. Now, that would mean we would have to come up with classifications for hunting rifles and let that be determined at the time, because you should not be allowed to take away somebody's hobby because you do not like that they own guns. I'm not going to go to grandma's house and take away her knitting needles because they're sharp and they make me nervous. I mean, I understand there's a difference between a gun and a knitting needle, but come on. Assault rifles, you can have. You can own them, you can keep them in your house, so long as they're not fully automatic. That's the number one rule. Assault rifles, you should not have a minimum cartridge or minimum bullets per cartridge, because they really are built just to like hold the number of bullets that you can put in a cartridge. And the cartridge varies because you can get bigger and smaller. But if you're at a shooting range, you should be allowed to use whatever you want number wise. Hollow pointed bullets in assault rifles should not be a thing. There's no reason for it. As far as to my knowledge, you do not use hollow points when hunting. Now, if I'm wrong about that, I would agree that you should be allowed to use the maximum of 6 within your rifle to go hunting. But there's hollow points. And fully automatic weapons should be allowed to be used at those shooting ranges. And if you truly want to own one, that's fine. Just store it at your gun club. Benefits to this gun club idea. I can imagine it would be a lot of fun to shoot a fully automatic weapon. Which would mean, it may just be me, but a lot of people might want to try that. And if it's recreational, you go, you do it, you pay for it. Much like you go to an amusement park or an ice skating rink. Now when you pay for that, you're boosting the economy by pushing money in and out of your pocket that you earned into another business, and it's just great. And a lot of gun manufacturers are based in the US. And I also believe we should be giving incentives to gun manufacturers to be coming here, to make sure they stay here. Because if we have all the gun manufacturers here, our gun laws are solid, we do thorough background checks, more people carry handguns, we are boosting our economy, and we are just a safer country overall. When it comes down to it, guns are just like many other things. I could easily compare them to cars, where there are significantly more car deaths every year in the US than gun deaths. Now, while I understand a gun individually next to a car could be more dangerous, it is only, just like a car, it is only as dangerous as its user. So long that it is the case that the people that are owning the guns are educated, knowing that they own guns via the permits and whatnot, and are good citizens, law-abiding citizens, we would be fine. There are so many more dangerous drivers on the road than there are gun owners. Now, while I can't statistically quote that, use some common sense and you will see that there are so many more dangerous drivers than gun owners. Now, if we look at the number of guns we have compared to other countries, I don't think that matters. Our history as a nation is rooted quite literally in war. We started off fighting for the freedom to own these guns in the Revolutionary War. The gun is what made us the nation that we are. If we did not have guns to fight Britain with, we would not be our own nation. We have a culture, a good culture with guns. It has not gotten to a point yet where it's out of control and we just need to start banning them all. That is absolutely ridiculous. Because it clearly says in the Constitution that I have a right to own my guns. So unless you change that, you should not. There's no reason why you need to be limiting what I need. But if you are going to do that, which I am okay with, you need to do it the right way. Here in America, we are nothing like Australia. Australia banned all their guns. It worked great for them. They've only had like 3 mass shootings, 4 more people killed in one shooting incident since then. Unfortunately, if you look at their charts, there's been a lot of arson, killing. The one event killed like 130 plus people. So, people are going to find a way to hurt people anyway. But I find it's just ignorant to compare the United States to other countries and their gun laws. Because we could go with Mexico and say that since they did a huge gun ban, and now it got worse. And just recently, Russia has started allowing people to conceal carry because they've had too many gun deaths. So Using these things are absolutely useless. There's no point in arguing about it. Let's just find a solution that works. And I feel like more people than just myself will like the ideas that I've stated. We need to get this under control. It is absolutely ridiculous that we are still debating the gun battle when you look at things like climate change or the number of people that die yearly from medical causes or disease or heart disease. Like, we need to be funneling not only that time, but the money that's being spent lobbying for guns or against guns into putting it to other places. The society as a whole would benefit from it if we would all just step back, fix it, take a week. Literally, that's all it would take, a week to come up with the ideas, then write up the legislation, push it through, and it works. And we could spend all that time fixing the education problems in America, the health problems in America, all the other problems that America are facing right now. But we are still spending a lot of time discussing gun laws. Thank you for watching my video. I'm sorry if I got a little intense, but I feel passionately about this and I hope you do too.